Hello everyone, Colin Canet here for Woodwork Web. Today I'm finally getting around to a topic that many of you have been requesting for many months, and that's the topic of dust control. And today I'm going to show you some of the things that I do in my shop that you're not always aware of, because some of these things happen behind the scenes, but I'm going to show you all of the things that I do to control dust in my workshop. And for those of you who are interested, we actually have a time-limited deal at the end of this video. So you'll want to watch, you'll at least want to watch the end of the video to see what that was. So the central part of my dust collection is it's only a 110 volt dust collector. It's a single stage, which means there's just one bag. And for me, it works just fine. It's connected to a 4-inch about a 12-foot hose, and I'm going to show you some adapters that I have for it. Now, I did change the bag on this a few years ago, and this is a special 1 micron bag, and it's much better than the bag that came with it. These cost a little bit more, but it means that a lot of the dust that might be coming through a more porous bag does not get through this, and I have noticed a difference. These are available a few places. I think I bought this one from Lee Valley, but you can find better quality bags around if you look for them, and that's the first step. Unfortunately, I don't have any automatic systems. In fact, the only thing automatic that I have is the remote control that turns the dust control on and off, which is really a must when you're trying to videotape, so that you can turn things on and off more quickly. But I don't have any ducting, so the 4-inch hose that I showed you previously, I have to walk around the shop and plug it in this case to my table saw, over here to my jointer, and behind us you can see to my planer. So I only have this one hose that goes to all 4 of those tools, and so I need to collect those tools so they're all in this sort of area, because I don't want to be having to move my dust collector around. But let me show you what I also use when I'm using my bandsaw or my router. While we're in the vicinity of the table saw, let's talk about dust collection here. Now, you'll know that if you're watching my videos, you'll know that I very often, whenever possible, I'm using my blade guard and my splitter. And half the reason, or maybe more, that I'm using that is because it creates a vacuum that sends the dust down into the dust collector. If I don't have this on, what happens is the dust from the blade is spit and thrown up into my face. And of course I've got eye protection, ear protection, and even some mouth protection or lung protection, but still it's doing that. And when you have this down, it tends to not do that. Well, you're getting quite a shop tour today as well. Now, I told you I had another adapter for some of my other tools, and what I have is a conversion that takes the 4-inch pipe that I have and takes it down to a 2-inch. So when I plug this into my dust collector, I plug the other end. My 2-inch side fits in 3 of the machines that I've got. It fits in the back of my bandsaw. And you may have heard me say in the past, bandsaws are one of the dustiest machines you'll have in your shop. So it's a really good idea to make sure that you have dust collection there. And it just plugs in right there. And the same one plugs in at the back of my router, so that when I'm routing, again, I can suck the dust through the back of the fence and the chips and so on. And this also fits on my reciprocating sander that I have. So it functions. So I really only have those things. The only thing that I don't have dust collection on yet, but I know what I'm going to do with it finally, is my sliding miter. Now, what I've been planning to do with my sliding miter is to build a great big box around with a hole that I could connect up my 4-inch hose to, and I just haven't got around to it. But that all changed a few weeks ago when one of my viewers sent me some pictures of what he's done. And I actually do have some dust collection these little bags, they actually work fairly well. Of course, they don't catch nearly everything, but I empty this bag probably every week and a half or so. So it does work. It is collecting some, but one of our viewers, and I'm sorry I don't remember your name, buddy, but it was a brilliant way. He actually has just in this little area right around here, and most sliding miters have this sort of a circular area around here. So here's where the blade comes down, and this is behind it. And what he has is just sort of a little pocket that fits in here, and the blade will actually make some indents into it so you could replace it from time to time. I just haven't figured out how I'm going to attach it, but it will also use the same connection that I use for my bandsaw and my router, and I'll just be able to plug it in, and that will save this sawdust that I get behind here that I have to vacuum up every 2 or 3 days or so. And that's what I'm going to do here. And when I do that, I'll do some pictures of it so that you can see what that turned out with. But that's the solution without building a great big enormous hood around your sliding miter or your stationary miter. Now I want to show you the cleaner that cleans all of the ambient air out of my workshop, especially when I'm working with things like MDF or just any kind of dust. This little cleaner here, and obviously I made it myself, and all it uses is 3 furnace filters. And if you wonder what this little thing is here, all I put that on there for is to give me an idea just how much dust is collected. Now this is 3 layers, 3 filters, and you can see that I've left them dusty so that you could see what it's like. I don't want to bang them too much, but I want to show you how well this works. Let's have a look inside. So look how clean it is inside. There's a little bit of dust, but hardly anything. So those furnace filters actually work very well. And by the way, these pieces of wood here, I first started off building this for some other filters. Then they got too expensive. So I decided I could use furnace filters, and they're a little bit smaller, but they still work in here. And all these are is just spacers so that they fit in there. I just haven't made something permanent there, so that's all that's for. Well, and here we are at the end of the video, and I promised I was going to have a deal for you, and I do. Before I get to that, I want to tell you that from time to time when I've worked in the furniture industry, this was one of the masks or the kind of masks that I wore. In fact, they now have 2 bands at the end. I only had 1. And you know what? They're better than nothing, but probably not much better. And you know what? There's lots of variations of these, and I guess they're better than nothing, but they really don't work. And the reason I know that is because at the end of the day, I could see where the sawdust was moving in and out because it didn't chuck into my cheeks well enough. But if you've been watching my videos for the last few weeks, you know that I've been using this little mask, this little RZ mask. And you know, to be honest with you, I really like this little mask, and I know it's working for a couple reasons, because I'm not seeing any of the little sawdust that I saw in the other masks, but also I'm not tasting or smelling the sawdust like I have been. And what I like about it, it's really easy to put on. When you put it on, it has a Velcro connection at the top, and they have different sizes, and it fits. I can feel that it fits fairly snugly in here, and even those of us with facial hair, you get a pretty good connection with it. So it does actually work, and I'm going to continue to use it. It's not the best in the world. If you're working in the industry and you need really good dust protection, you're going to need to spend a lot of money on a good quality certified mask. But if you have nothing, this is a great alternative to get you started in protecting your lungs. And if you order one of these masks from RZ, between now and the end of April 2016, so it's just a short window, just a couple of weeks, till the end of April 2016, if you type in the word Woodwork Web, all one word, they will give you a 10% discount. And to be honest, you know what? I'm not making any money on this. It's got nothing to do with me. It's between you and RZ. If you are interested in protecting your lungs, go ahead and check them out. I'm only interested, and I told the RZ folks this, I'm only interested in helping viewers and subscribers think about protecting our lungs. You know what? We protect our ears, we protect our eyes, but a lot of us are doing little or nothing to protect our lungs, and it's time we started to think about that more. And this is a good step in doing that. A good quality little mask for not a lot of money with replaceable filters. It comes with replaceable filters. So it's a good investment to get started in protecting our lungs, and I need to take that lesson as well. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed, we ask you to do that. I'm Colin Kennett for Woodwork Web. And don't forget, there will be an article on this, and the link is in the description box underneath. And that's where you'll get the link to the RZ mask and that promotion and all those details. I'm Colin Kennett for Woodwork Web. Thanks for watching.